Hello and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be installing the Nevermore V6 on my LDO V0.2. Okay, so now we've got to remove all the support material. Okay, so the fans get placed in here, and then you have this little extra 3D print that is used to secure the fan. So you just push them in, and there's that. Okay, so both of these fans, I'm gonna have to trim off the connector. This will allow me to now push both of these wires through the hole here. And what this is going to allow me to do is to determine how long I should have these on this side so that I can solder a connector onto it. So I'll probably cut it here-ish, about 1.5 inches past the connector, or the opening for the connector. So that now allows me to solder this connector like such onto here, and that will then allow the wires to pull through, and then this would get pushed into place. So to kind of hold these wires in place, I'm gonna put a dab of super glue right here. And what this will do is allow me to push the wire like that, and it will kind of keep it tamed. And then I'll do the same right here. Just a small little dab. And then one more right here next to this wire. So just to assist with the soldering, I'm gonna put the one that we cut off in here. I can see where the black wire is. I'm gonna take a black Sharpie and just mark that side of the connector so that I can remember that that is the side that is ground. Okay, so now I'm gonna prepare 2 pieces of heat shrink, about 3/8 of an inch. And I'm also going to split the wires. With both of these split, I'm going to go ahead and put 1 small heat shrink over the red, the 2 red wires together. That will kind of hold them together. I'm going to do the same with the black. Okay, now that this is soldered up, I've gone ahead and pushed that into this opening. I'm also going to add a little dab of super glue on the outside just to kind of hold it into place. Just like so. That's just gonna lock it into place. Next, we're going to need to install a heat set insert into that hole here. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've pushed 1 magnet into each hole. I'm now going to take a second magnet and just set it on there, like that, on all 4. I'm going to take the super glue again, put 1 little dot on each. And what that's going to allow is when I push this on, it's going to allow the second magnet to get glued into that cavity. Okay, so a few of these magnets fell out, so I went ahead and made sure I understood the orientation so this would connect together correctly. And then I just took some super glue and I put a couple dabs in it, and then I used my Allen wrench here just to kind of push it into its place. And then when any glue kind of came out, I just had a little rag here that I wiped it up. So we'll go ahead and set this to the side to dry. Okay, for the install, we are going to need to remove the rear electronics plate. Okay, now we're going to take off this side panel. So to now power these fans, I'm going to need about 8 inches of this wire. So it has been snaked underneath the back plate here, snaked behind the electronics here, and it's been plugged into this connector here. Fan 1 on the SKR Pico. I also already have 2 nuts in my extrusion, but if you don't, you will need to get 2 nuts loaded in. So for the install on the bottom, you're going to use this 3D print here, and I'm using a 6mm M3 bolt. So this part will be installed here. And we're not going to fully tighten it because this needs to move around until we can get the actual fan assembly. So now we're going to add the fan assembly here. Move that around. You can see there, that's where it needs to be. So we'll carefully pull this off and tighten. We'll go ahead and try that again just to verify. We are good. Okay, down here at this screw hole, we are going to be adding a 16mm M3 bolt. There's that. And up here, we're going to be using a 20mm bolt. You're going to need a ball end driver. Now that's tightened. With both of these bolts now installed, we can now install the cover. To install it, we will start by pushing it down into this part. And just pushing it into place. To secure it, we have one screw hole. I'm using this 10mm button head. And that's snug. You can go ahead and plug the unit in. That's pretty much the entire hardware install. So now we're just going to reinstall the side plate and the back plate. Okay, so I was able to get this cover installed. It's a little tight, so I might have to reprint it, but I'm going to now put all of my carbon into it. And installing it is just as easy as setting it on there with the magnets installing it. Now on the screen, I'll show you all of the configuration. Okay, so I've added this Nevermore configuration file to my main cell. This is where I got it. I'll have this link down below. I had to add this as the GPIO pin for that fan terminal. I got that from the layout here. So I had it in fan 1, which you can see here is IO 17. So that's how I got GPIO 17 here. And then in the printer.cfg, I added the include so that it would load that configuration. The Nevermore V6 was a pretty easy install. I might reprint my cartridge so it's actually pointing up and not towards the build plate. I also found there was a modified cartridge, which is a little bit easier than that back lid that I broke on my first time installing it. I also need to find a different grate because I don't have pellets. I have just ground up carbon. because I use it on my V2.4, which doesn't really worry about stuff falling down into the fans. This should be a great quality of life improvement. I've been printing a lot of ASA and ABS, and I've been using this Nevermore now for a week now, and the fumes from the printing of ASA has definitely decreased. So thanks for watching, and tune in for the next video.